In Japan, when someone says, I grabbed dinner at a convenience store, nobody blinks. It's normal. It's like saying you picked up coffee on the way to work. But in America, if you tell someone you had 7-Eleven for dinner, people look at you like you had given up on life. Same brand, same logo, completely different relationship with the people who walk through the door. I wanted to understand why, not from industry reports, but from real people. So I went through thousands of comments from people who've actually eaten at both, and what I found surprised me. Because the obvious answer, Japanese culture just cares more about food, turns out to be completely wrong. Here's the first thing that jumped out. In Japan, people go to konbini, that's what they call convenience stores, because it's Tuesday and they want lunch. The trigger is hunger, same as deciding to go to any restaurant. Someone described how 25 years ago, grabbing an onigiri, a rice ball from a konbini for lunch, was considered radical. Now it's just what you do. But in the US, the trigger is completely different. People go to 7-Eleven at midnight because nothing else is open. It's the fallback, the last resort, the I guess this will do. And people talk about these two experiences in completely different language too. People describe Japanese konbini food with specificity. They mention famichiki, that's fried chicken from Family Mart, by name. One person said Family Mart is the best chain specifically because the others don't have famichiki. That someone chose their convenience store based on a single menu item, the way you'd pick a restaurant. Another person said onigiri is literally the first thing they grab every time they land in Japan, before ramen, before sushi, before anything. Nobody talked about American 7-Eleven food that way. One person on a fast food forum described it as just the junk they serve at 7-Eleven, not even worth naming. So the obvious conclusion is that this is a culture gap. Japanese people respect food more, care about shared spaces more, and that's why their convenience stores are better, right? Not really. And here's where it gets interesting. Because America does have convenience store food as culture, it just looks different. In New York City, the bodega sandwich is basically a religion. Someone wrote what might be the greatest guide to ordering a bodega ever posted online. 9,000 upvotes, and it reads like a training manual for a secret society. You walk in. There are two counters, one with cigarettes and lotto, the other with deli meat. Do not confuse them. You know what you order before you open your mouth. The guy behind the counter will say something sounds like, you want cheese? That means you want cheese? And you'd better answer fast because 4 people behind you already know what they want. A lifelong New Yorker replied, this is a perfect summation of the bodega sandwich experience. And one person said something that reframed everything for me. Convenience store food is not a backup option. It's legit good and saves time and money. I will die on this hill. That's a person with a relationship with their convenience store. Same emotional intensity as someone talking about konbini in Japan. So Americans clearly can care about convenience store food. The culture isn't the problem. Then what is? Here's what I didn't expect to find. Everyone online says the gap is about food quality. And yes, the food matters. But when I looked at why people actually go back, not what they said about the food, but the motivation patterns underneath, there was something else going on. In Japan, tourists chose konbini even when they know better options exist nearby for the same price. People admit that supermarkets have better food for less money, and that konbini is overrated compared to real restaurants. And people who've been to Japan multiple times actually get tired of it. So why do they keep going back? Because the konbini is a safe place. When you don't speak the language, when restaurants have rules you don't understand, when you're tired of making decisions, The konbini asks nothing of you. You walk in, pick something up, pay. No social script, no judgment, no risk of getting it wrong. The food is good enough, but the real reward is that you don't have to perform. Now, flip back to the bodega. The bodega is the exact opposite. You walk in and there is a test. You have to know the brand names, the ordering paste, the unwritten rules. It's high friction by design, but the reward for passing that test is that you belong. You're not a tourist anymore, you are a regular. Same format of stores. Both sell sandwiches, but one is a safe harbor and the other is an initiation ritual. Now, here's where it gets practical. US 7-Eleven is also low friction. Nobody's testing you at the door. You walk in, grab something, leave. Same ease as a konbini, but the food is terrible, so there's no reward. Low friction without quality gives you a last resort. Low friction with quality gives you a daily ritual. That's the difference. And we know this works in the US because it already exists. Someone in the data pointed out, there are already some like that in the US, Wawa and Sheetz. Wawa and Sheetz do exactly what Japanese konbini do. Low friction, genuinely good food, and people are fiercely loyal to them. People argue about Wawa versus Sheetz the way they argue about Yankees versus Mets. One person chose their konbini chain based on famichiki, and Wawa customers will tell you their hoagie is the only hoagie. So the formula isn't complicated. The question is why 7-Eleven hasn't figured it out. And the most upvoted comments in my entire dataset said it plainly. 7-Eleven would need a total revamp of its marketing, image, and target customer. Carrying egg salad sandwiches isn't going to do it. You can't just add a product. You need a product and an experience. Japan figured that out decades ago. Wawa figured it out regionally. 7-Eleven still hasn't. And you can see this play out in real time with the onigiri. In Japan, an onigiri works because of everything around it. The konbini you walk past twice a day, the fresh delivery, the price, the fact that grabbing one feels as natural as grabbing a coffee. It's embedded in a daily routine. Take that same rice ball, strip away all the context, and drop it into a US grocery store. One person laid it out. In Japan, a fresh onigiri costs less than 200 yen. In Europe, a mass-produced version with worse ingredients costs 4 times that. The product traveled, the system didn't. And in the US, most people can't even find one to try. Someone wrote, I have yet to see onigiri being sold anywhere in my area. Then added, every time I see an image of that bad Pokemon translation popped into my head. These donuts are great. That's the gap in one sentence. A food that millions of people eat every day in Japan. And in America, most people's only reference point is a cartoon that was too embarrassed to show them what it actually was. I went into this expecting to find a story about food quality. I came out with something different. When people talk honestly, not in a survey, not in a focus group, just to each other, what they reveal is that a convenience store was never just about the food. It's about how the space makes you feel, safe or unwelcome, like a local or like a tourist, like someone who belongs or someone with no other option. The food has to be good, but good food alone is not enough. You need a whole experience. That's the kind of thing you only hear when you stop asking questions and start listening.